my stitchy friends, welcome back. My name is Laura. You found Lala D Stitches, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. It's been, well, let me look at my calendar. I think about 3 weeks since we met. Yeah. And I have to say, they've been good, happy, crazy, stressful, long weeks. Like, I was thinking about it this morning as I got my coffee out and thinking, oh my gosh, 2 weeks ago, today's Saturday, right? Yeah. 2 weeks ago, we were in Florida for our last day. And unfortunately, Daniel had a terrible bout of food poisoning. It was a quiet last day. The rest of the week had been fabulous though. And we'd done all the things we really wanted to do. So I guess if it was going to happen, that was a good moment for it to happen. If there is ever a good moment to have food poisoning. Oh, poor guy. I felt so bad for him. It was really rather miserable for him. Oh, anyways, but 2 weeks ago we were in Florida. Food poisoning or not. and it feels like, that was probably last year, right? Or 5 years ago. It's been a long time since I was there. So much has happened. It's been a wild ride. Oh my gosh. Anyways, we're back. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Oh my goodness. It's so pretty here. And so I was planning on doing this video yesterday, and then Daniel wound up being home because life is being exciting right now. And so I didn't film yesterday, and I really wanted to get it done. Well, I really want to chat with you guys, but I also really want to get it done because there's so much going on in life right now that I just don't know if it doesn't happen today. I don't know when it will. So here we are, and it's gorgeous, but because it's so clear and sunny, I've got to do it in the morning before, the sun blinds my retinas, and because I get real direct afternoon exposure in this room. So after a certain point, it's just so bright in here, which is great, but it makes facing the window, bright. So. Florida was fabulous. Universal Studios was exhausting. Disney World was magical. The warm waters and sunshine were restorative. The historical sites we saw were fascinating, and I can hardly wait to go back. I don't know when that will be. It'll probably be a few years, but I'm so grateful to my father-in-law for getting us down there because it was really, really a fun trip. We came home, and my sister and her little family, who had been watching my dog, Sweet Grace, who is hiding behind me right now. So her bed died that normally is in here that she curls up on. And I have a blanket, a quilt down on the ground for her, but she's feeling rather displaced without her bed. We're going to have to rectify that. But anyways, my sister's family stayed in town for the week after Florida, so last week. And I had horrible jet lag, which you wouldn't think. I mean, it's Florida, coast to coast. There's a 3-hour difference. You wouldn't think it would be that bad, but I tell you what, Sunday, I was a slug on the couch. I could not move. And then the next day I was feeling a lot better, but then I just couldn't stay awake after a certain point in the evening. And so it took me a solid 2 days to really feel like, okay, I'm back on the West Coast. I'm good. I'm ready to have adventures and do fun things again. And, anyway, so we filled the week with fun things, and I'm thoroughly embracing my not a tourist sightseeing phase of life. So I've got my Seattle sweatshirt on, and yeah, I feel like I'm chatting all this news, but there is news. So while we were in Florida, we got a call from my husband's boss who said, we're in a training program right now. So Daniel, my husband, is in a training program. I always say we, because, you know, we're together in it, but he's the one doing the work. For management in his company, and it's a 2-year program. We are 18 months, almost 19 months into it. And we'd been told in January that they were pushing people to move faster because they had positions that needed to be filled. And so we were kind of gearing up towards that. And then February was, you know, what it was. And during that month, they were like, oh no, we're going to step back. You're going to do your full 2 years. So we kind of like, you know, stepped back from the push for that. And then while we were in Florida, he called and he's like, they changed their minds again. You're ready to go? And so it was kind of, you know, on one level a little frustrating because here we are on vacation and we're having to think about work. But also very exciting because this is what we've been working for, you know, the whole time we've been in Seattle. And anyways, so we did what we could while we were away. We came home and Daniel was just, you know, working so hard all week last week to get ready for he had this panel interview he had to do before the board, and then it was the anxious wait to see if he had, you know, passed that, and he did with flying colors. He did fabulous, which we knew what he would be, but you know, you always, it's stressful. And so then he's officially on the list, which means he can start applying to available positions. And so this week has been full of applications and researching different locations, because we could wind up anywhere from here to California to basically any northwestern state clear over to Minnesota. They've just opened several branches in Minnesota. So, I mean, it's really a wide expanse of the United States that we could wind up in. So kind of researching, is this somewhere we could even afford to live and all that stuff. And then we're like, yeah, okay, go. We'll figure it out. It's good enough just in a 15-minute search that, you know, we'll make it work if we get it. And so then it was interviews on Thursday, and yesterday was the longest day of my life as we waited to hear back from all of those interviews. And, you know, unfortunately he didn't get that batch of stores, but they've already released a new list, and we're already like on round 2 of interviewing, not interviewing yet, but applying and then researching, and then Monday, Tuesday will be another round of interviews. And so, I mean, it's this crazy roller coaster of emotions and a whirlwind of activity, and I just feel like, most of the time. But I have been getting some cross stitch done in the last week and a half-ish, and that was a really pretty face. Don't screenshot that, please. And I have lots, like oodles of haul to show you, because I've had company over and stress and traveling, and so many excuses to find some marvelous acquisitions to my collection. Anyways, yeah, lots to share. I'll stop rattling on about life and get into the cross stitch after I take a sip of coffee. Yum. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, I have this, like, speaking of like tourist phase, I just have this urge to do all the things we haven't done that we wanted to do or we've talked about doing, or that it's been a year or so since we've done. So I did the Space Needle last week with my sister, and I hadn't been there in 12 years, and they've remodeled. It was different. It was really cool. And, you know, we've gone to the zoo, but I want to go to the zoo again. And I'd really love to take the ferry over to I can never remember the island, Bainbridge Island. But that's a full day, and that's really hard to come by right now. So I don't know. Some of these things just might not happen. We'll have to come visit if we wind up moving away from the area. But anyways, embracing my tourist phase in all the spare time I have. Anyways, okay, cross stitch. First, I want to say thank you. I had, after my last video, which was at the start of this month, a handful of people bought me a coffee. So, donated to my cross-stitch fund, which was so lovely and really good timing right before my trip, so that I had some fun money. So I wanted to say a special thank you to Sam and Klaus, Carrie, Michelle, Jack, and someone who all bought me a coffee. Thank you so much. It was so fun to have some extra pennies in my pocket for the goodies you'll see down there. Anyways, but truly, thank you. Because it's never necessary, but anything that goes to buy my coffee goes instantly into my cross-stitch. So it's really fun, and I appreciate it, truly. Okay, so let's look at the planner. You can see, so I'm working with my Hobonichi, which I love, and it's working really well this year. I love the compact size, so we'll see how the year goes, but I'm kind of like hooked. All the slashes are days I didn't do any stitching. So it's been hit or miss. It's been super busy, and that's okay. The first couple days after my trip where I stitched were really minimal, and then they've gotten bigger as, company left and I had a little bit more free time, and I've been trying to really stitch when I can, which are really weird times. Sometimes I'm stitching in the morning. Sometimes I have a little bit of time around lunch. Sometimes it's not till the evening, and then I'm tired, so I don't get a lot done, and it's real random. But I'm trying to make it fit into the times I have, because I have a great desire to stitch despite the craziness of life. So we're making it a priority in the free moments. So yeah, that's my kind of month overview, and then my pages. So this is where I track normally. I'll go back to an older one. Where's one? There we go. That was a pretty good one. I write down what I actually did in the day, whether it be quilting or cross stitch. This is kind of my combined section, and then kind of goals and what I'm watching and stuff like that on the other side. So obviously Florida, nothing. But I tried to find some Disney-esque stickers for that, and they're pretty. And then the week after we were home, but it was kind of hit or miss, and so I didn't really do any goals or anything. And I knew going into it, I was like, I can use my big stickers because I know I'm really not going to get a lot done. And then this week, I've been a lot more productive. So I had goals, and I have accomplished all of my goals, which is, yes, that feels so good. I don't do that all the time. But I've been able to get some stitching in every day this week. And what are these notes? Oh, yes, this is notes for a project I'm doing a color conversion on. So there you go. But I have sweet little Easter stickers. These are washi tape stickers, which I didn't know was a thing, but I found them randomly on the Glamazon, and they're so pretty. They're so pretty. I might have to see if I can find more. Anyways, and then next week is all stickered up, but not filled in yet because we're not there yet. Yeah, okay, so let's dive into my whips. I did have 2 starts. I know some people will kind of break it up into segments. Well, I'll do new starts and then their whips and then or finishes, new start. Blah, blah, blah. They have an order. Mine's just kind of all mushed together. I don't have any finishes, though I'm close on a couple. But I do have 2 new starts, and they're just kind of mixed in. There's no particular order in how you'll see them. It's just how I press them out. I did iron which is not always done. So I feel very prepared. Yay me. Okay, yeah, we're on a rip-roaring start here. 15 minutes in and you haven't even seen any cross-stitch. I'm gonna fix that. Okay, first one, which is what I was working on last night, is Quaker by Heartstring Samplery. I started this one right after Christmas last year, and I haven't done a ton on it. Oh my goodness, I don't have my tablet for my before pictures. Okay, we might pause and I'll come back. Okay, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I mean, you won't really notice the difference, but and maybe it was good because I was super excited about filming, and this kind of gave me a break to be like, okay, girl, like, take a breath. You do not have to ramble on at 40,000 miles an hour. Anyway, so where were we? We were talking about Quaker, and now that I have my tablet, I can show you where I started. So this is where I was when I put it away last time, I guess. Just a tiny start, but a solid start. And I've got my board. You know, I've been enjoying this one. I've got a few stitches in on it. So Quakers are fun. You reach little milestones pretty easily on them, and so they feel very satisfying. I am doing a color conversion on this one. I have switched out pretty much all of the colors, so to be more in keeping with my kitchen theme, and so I have these bowl cozies that have basically my color palette that I kind of pull from when I add things to the kitchen, if you will. Anyways, so I pulled floss from my stash based on those bowl cozies. So it's fun. I'm doing this. Oh, let me get my information because I don't have it all in my head. I'm stitching this on 36 count linen from R&R, and the color is Fog Lifter. It's this lovely dove gray. It's showing up actually pretty accurately. It's lovely. It's the same fabric I'm stitching my abbreviated Shores of Hawk Run Hollow on. So this is the chunk that I cut off of it when I decided to make it smaller. Yeah, and I started it right before Christmas, so making some progress. It's feeling pretty good. I need to pick the color. There's a big Quaker, like half Quaker right here. And I had a color pulled, but it feels a little more yellow than perhaps I want at this point. So while that would have been probably the more logical next Quaker to stitch, I'm in a bit of a quandary about it. So once I decide what the next color will be, because you can see on the picture it's a softer one, and while I'm changing my colors, I'm trying to keep the intensity of color similar. So, you know, this is a stronger one. I picked a stronger color, kind of medium, light, and I'm kind of breaking it up. These are green. There's two motifs that are a brighter green, even in this faded picture. And so those are still a green, and, you know, so like a nod to the original, but something that'll look awesome in my kitchen. Okay, so that's the first one. Where do I put these? Ironing board. Okay. Next, so normally I stitch, if you're new with me, you won't know this. I have like a theme every month. So like technically March was Magical March, and I don't remember. Oh, February was Literary February, so anything with books or that reminded me of a book or that was like a fandom for a book, that kind of thing. So I have a monthly theme, and then I kind of pull from my whips whatever I want to stitch on within that category. And that's been working, but the last 2 months I've really fallen off the wagon with that. It's just a free for all. So you will not see a magical theme through this. Please don't be disappointed. It's just been what feels good. So I randomly pulled out Brenda Gervais Sampler Hill, which I started last May, I think. Yes, last May. I adore this project. I can't believe I put it away for most of the summer. In fact, it's going to stay in my rotation for this next month because, oh, I didn't show you where I started. Because it's so, so pretty. Okay, well, I guess I didn't do that much. Maybe this isn't necessary. So that's where I was when I left it. A really good start. Apparently, I really enjoyed stitching on it last May. Because I got that border finished, at least the bones of it, and a couple doggos, and that bee skip at the top. I love how... Here, I'll show you the real thing. You don't have to look at a picture anymore. I love how the bees just kind of float around the hive, the skip there. It's so, so pretty. Just gives it some whimsy. Instead of there just being like one or two, there's this whole little flurry of activity. So I added a few flowers in. I think there was a length hanging off of it, so I just completed that length. And then I added in this basket. And our lighting's a little funky. That's better. I want to put it closer, but it like distorts the color. Anyways, I'm stitching this on, I think we decided, so this came from Reflections Framing and Stitching in Nebraska, which is a fabulous store. If you're in the area, I absolutely recommend it. I visited there last January while I was helping my parents move. And I think we decided that her fabrics are lakeside linens because she just writes, she has these awesome little cards, but it just says linen instead of like a who dyed it. Anyway, so it's linen. And the fabric color is Mayflower. So, and it's beautiful. It's just this soft, peachy color. And so it feels very springy and fresh without being wham in your face, you know? Perfect for a sampler. Yeah, I love it. I really enjoyed doing this basket, so I'm excited to add a couple more motifs. This is definitely one of those samplers that it's a little more surprising that I love it because I don't typically, it's almost a mirror image. The only difference is guy and gal down at the bottom. But other than that, it's like the same on either side. And I don't normally go for those because you're stitching the same thing twice. And so it's just not normally my thing. I like the variety that some of the other samplers have. But this is so beautiful. It's so springy and fresh and lovely. And I saw the sample at the store and I was like, done. That's the project I want. So I guess it just takes the right one for that to not be an issue. Not that it's an issue, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay, this next one is one I'm really enjoying this year. Avenger Sampler by Sambrie Stitches. And I think this was a market release last year that I snatched right up. And I started it... Uh-oh, did I not write down when I started it? Well, so much for my information card. I'm fairly certain I started it like August and it was a pathetic, pitiful little start. It was just like the corner of the bones of the border. And so where we were last time is I've pulled it out a few times, obviously. I think in January I got the border done, and through February I did the eagle and, you know, what you see here. And I'm just enjoying it. It's one of those ones that I pulled out really randomly. It didn't really fit a theme or anything, but it just felt good to stitch on it. So I continue to stitch on it. So I finished this little path and the cabin, and it is delightful. So next comes, there's a deer and a tree here, and then a couple more trees up here. We're gonna finish with Mr. Squatch himself. So I'm doing a full color conversion off of on this. There we go, the right word. From my stash. So it's just a mix of, you know, what I have on hand. And it has changed as I have been stitching on it. So that's what my notes were for in my my little planner down here. I was finalizing my choices for the color of the deer. He has like 3 different browns in him, I think. And then what color did I want this tree to be? And, you know, just kind of finalizing some of those choices. And it's so much fun. I love making it my own. I'm stitching this on 28 count linen from Picture This Plus. The color is Fresco. And I mean, it kind of shows, it's beautiful. You know, it's a neutral and it has these little hints of blue and green, but they're so subtle that it's really just more of a movement of color than a punch in the face. So, okay. Sometimes the words that come out of my mouth surprise me. Anyways, Avenger Sampler. Super, super duper cute. She did another one this year for Market that's really cute, but it's a little bit more traditional sampler with like an alphabet and stuff. So if that's your style, but you want a squatch, go for it. I love this one though. This one is my favorite. Okay, next. Oh, this one's a good one. You're gonna be happy. Yeah. Okay. In the Library by Mojo Stitches, which I guess I don't even have to show you the pattern because I've got it in the picture. So I have been working on the 3rd shelf. And I don't know if this is well, it is the picture I have. So I have completed the 3rd shelf. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're getting so close on this one. It's kind of mind-boggling. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Get this pattern, stitch it with the Cottage Garden threads because they're totally worth it. Oh my gosh, they're just magical. I love it. That globe is still like chef's kiss. And this little pot of reeds on top, I love that. Oh my goodness. It's so delightful. It's so, so delightful. I have all my moths completely done. All of my back stitching is done, which is so nominal. I had somebody ask, you know, is there back stitching on this? And it's literally like 5 spots. So there's a little bit for the feathers, a little bit for the wicks of the candles, whiskers, and then the antenna on the moths. That's it. That's all. It's so minimal that it's just like, is it even there? And the rest is just straight stitches. There's not even quarter stitches. So it's super, super doable. Ooh. Looks like I missed a spot on this shelf. I need to go back and fill that in. Good catch. Anyway, so all I've got left is there's a secondary green to come into this side, and then obviously both greens through there. Yeah. It's getting there, you guys. It's almost done. It's so pretty. I'm stitching this on vintage Lakeside Linen, or Lakeside Linen Vintage Purled Barley, which I wish I had bought the entire half yard of while I was there that day instead of just enough for this project because it's gorgeous and it's nowhere. Anyways, I didn't know what I had before me in that moment. Oh well, it makes this one even more special. Here is the pattern in case you wanted to see that. Mojo Stitches. I believe you can buy a digital version, like a PDF of this, through her Etsy shop as well. But it's around. It's getting the attention it deserves. And if it's not, I'm going to keep talking about it so that it does, because it's gorgeous. And it's really fun to stitch. All right, next. This one is taking a while to look like anything. That's okay. Lovebirds by Nora Corbett, which was a stitchy kindness for me earlier or at the end of last month. A lovely, lovely gift. And I am actually, despite it looking still like an ink blot test, it is still a project I'm enjoying very much. So this is where it was last time I showed it to you, right? Ooh, brown. I've added like 4 more colors in, not that it shows very well yet. I'm stitching this on 32 count, picture this plus linen. The color is Glory. It's fabulous. I mean, it's starting to look a little bit more like birds. It still looks a little bit like a reproductive system to me, but you know, like ovaries and I don't know. I can't get it out of my head. Like I had that thought a couple weeks ago while I was stitching on it, and now it's just stuck there. I can't wait till the birds have heads and it doesn't look like that anymore. Anyways, but I am loving, you can see like there are 2 different colors of purple in there now and that beautiful bright red. And once I get those wings filled in, then we go into the beautiful golds that define the birds, and then the magic's going to start happening, you guys. So it's coming along. I am enjoying this. And it's fun to do Nora Corbett, who is also Mira, right? That isn't people. It's like fancy animals instead of fancy people. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Just as a reminder. See, they've got these big, beautiful... They're so gorgeous. I'm just in the boring part. The structural part. Then we get to do the fun. It's going to go so fast, though. Literally, once I have the golds done, it's just like... I think it's just going to all come together. I love this fat bumble up top. So sweet. Yeah, so... plugging away at that. Next picture. Okay, so the next one is Bella Filipina, the Mad Tea Party. And sorry for the like paper. This is the color chart, and I've found that just tucking it behind the picture is a really convenient way to see the color chart, the key for everything. Anyways, it's so fabulous, and people are really starting to finish this now at this point. So I've seen a lot of different linen choices, and somebody did a full conversion I saw last week to the original colors. So they made her hair more like Disney blonde, and they made her dress blue, and it was really cool. It was, you know, I didn't even think to do anything like that because I just loved kind of the carnival, fabulous, whimsical color of the chart in its original iteration, but it was really cute. It was cool to see it converted like that. So the only picture I have before I started stitching is with my sweet girl. That's where we were. I started this one. When did I start this one? Here's my information. This one was right after Christmas too. So that week leading up to New Year's, I did a lot of new starts. And then I've really slowed down. It could just be life that's slowing me down on new starts, but don't worry, fear not. There are oodles of new starts coming. So here's where I am. It's really coming along. This is a 14 count Ada that was hand dyed by Fabrics by Stephanie. The color is Busy Izzy, and it is perfect for an Alice in Wonderland fantasy world. It is so good. Still have a little bit to do in her arm here. It looks a little misshapen, but But yeah, I really focused on completing the skirt. Everything but beads and Kreinik is now done for the skirt itself. I'm working currently on this banner that has her name on it. And then I think what I'll do, let me see the chart. What was my course of action? Oh yeah, so then I'm going to do the mushrooms and the roses and get that bottom final banner down here. It's like a purple banner. And then I'm ready to start adding Kreinik. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do her head closer to the middle last of everything, because that's a fun part where like she becomes a person instead of like a floating torso. But the bottom banner, this banner, and then the arch over her are all stitched in Kreinik. So once I get the oranges, once I get the roses in, I want to get those Kreinik structures stitched into it, and that's when, you know, this will really start to take shape. So pretty exciting. That's the course of action. I do not have her beads yet. They're languishing in my cart in 1, 2, 3 stitch. But I'm about to the point where I should probably purchase those. I do have the Kreinik, so I'm ready to go on that. But I've definitely learned with my Stargazer, like a little bit of beads, I don't mind doing all at the end. But if they have more beads through the whole project, I think my future choice will be to bead as I go. So, I mean, beading all at once, there's definitely a magic to it, because it's like you have this stitch full of holes, even though all the X's are done, and then all of a sudden it like transforms. But I just find my motivation for sitting down and beading 5 bajillion beads is minimal, which is sad because she's getting there. I can show you where I am. Do you want to see where I am? Sure you do. Yeah, you do. Let me grab it. It's right over here. I wasn't going to show you until I had like a full reveal, because, you know, it's always fun to do, but I could just show you. So this is Stargazer, and this is where she sits. So you can see the beautiful sparkle coming into her buttress is done, and then I gave her one little string of magic coming out. It's very subtle, but there is beading in here in the skirt. It shows really well in person, but I wanted that subtle. And then I'm working on these swags that kind of edge the back of her skirt. So she's so pretty. I was not going to show this to you guys today, but I think I needed, like, we started talking about beads and I was like, okay, I could use some motivation here, because just these darker beads right there took 2 hours to put in. It's just not fast. So like I said, in the future, I love beading. It's actually, there's a magic to it, but I want to do it as I go, because at least with something like this, there are still so many beads to do. She's got all these magical beads around her torso, and then you can see all the holes through the skirt. Oh, strings is the edge her skirt, and like I've still got hours of beading to do. Anyways, it will happen. She will be done. She's gorgeous. I love her. Yeah, anyways. That's where Stargazer sits right now. On a totally random side note. Okay. Back to our scheduled programming. Oh, where's my main picture for this? It is there. Okay, so this next one, it's interesting actually. I have been working on in the last month, or last, I guess, week and a half, because yeah. A lot of the projects I purchased in Nebraska. This was another one. Oh, Pink Sparrow Sampler by Brenda Gervais again. Absolutely delightful. I am doing a color conversion on it. This is where it was. And because, and I've said this before, when I pulled the original colors, they were beautiful, but they were a bit more subtle than I wanted them to be. So I'm spicing it up a bit. But keeping in tune, keeping with the original palette, I'm just like brightening the colors a bit so that it's fresh and happy instead of elegant and traditional. So, yeah, so this is where I am. Oh, my voice just broke. So I added this flower. I completed, my goal was to complete this top section, and I did. And then I added a few leaves into that border, so they have an echoing blue leaf in those spots. And then we get our alphabet, and then there's of course that big tree of, or bush of flowers. I don't know what it would be. And that's probably, I don't know, that may be how I approach it. Or maybe I'll jump into the border next and try to work on that. Since I've finally settled, there was a lot of decision making up here because, as I said, I'm converting it. I mean, it's, you can see it's very, very similar, just a little bit more saturated. And so there were like, the strawberries wound up being a bit of a quandary, and I wound up adding an additional color so that I could have, because in the original, the lighter color here, the face, the flower, the secondary color, and the strawberries, those are all the same. And I mean, clearly I have two different colors in there, and that just wound up working better. Anyway, so there was some decision making that had to happen in this first panel, and now that the palette has kind of settled into what it will be, everything else should flow a lot more quickly. Because I can just stitch instead of sitting there like, this blue or that blue? What about these 7 different greens? Which one would be better? It's fun. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. Anyway, I'm absolutely loving how this is coming out. I guess I should tell you what I'm stitching it on. I'm stitching it 2/2 on 28 Lugana, lightly roasted, not salted, by Bestitch Me. And it is lovely. It's interesting, as with, like, I feel like peaches and greens very commonly wash out in the camera. Let's see if I can get a better... There you can see that it's not as white as perhaps it might have read. Where was I going with that? Oh, anyways, these show pretty white. I don't know. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Okay, so the last thing I worked on was a new start. Where is my second new start in that? Maybe I only had one new start. Okay, that's fine. I started Blooming Tiny Town, which is so sweet. I've now done half of the seaside town and all of the big-hearted town, and I plan to do most, if not all, of them. I can turn my tablet off now because this was a new start. And actually, it's living on the same piece as my big-hearted, so you'll get to see it multiple times as I work on my blooming town. So I just did that first little house in the center, and at least for now, I think I'm gonna just have a goal of like 1 house a week, unless I get super motivated and it goes really fast while I'm stitching on it and I'm just enjoying it. But that's what I did this week, because I knew that I've been so scattered and I wanted some progress because I wanted to film, and I didn't want to be like, look, I did 10 stitches on one thing. So I was like, okay, what are some like achievable goals I could do? So with the pink sparrow, I did that top panel. Okay, finish that top panel. This one, if you're going to start it, do 1 house. And it's so sweet. It's so cute. It's not all of the color. I think the only color that's not called for actually is the house roof. The roof, yes. And I just didn't have that color, so I pulled something from Stash. But this is so cute. It makes me think of a little mushroom house. That's what I've been calling it in my brain. Finish the mushroom house. So sweet. Anyways, but that's worked really well. So I wanted to, you can see on my goals here, was complete the cabin. So that was in the Avenger Sampler. And then top section pink sampler, finished shelf 3 in the library, and 1 house on the tiny town. And having those kind of bullet points for what I wanted to do wound up being a really good way to kind of settle a very scattered brain. So I think I'll do something akin to that over the next week because, well, today is a bit of a, not a lull day, but like a day when I can get other things done. I know that going into, like, my husband's home tomorrow, and I think we're going to try to, like, go out and do something local because we're in our not a tourist sightseeing phase. And so tomorrow I doubt I'll get very much stitching done at all. But Monday, Tuesday, you know, he's interviewing again. Like that, I tell you what, that 48 hours, Thursday, Friday, I swear I got gray hair because of it. Like, it was just, I was surprised by how stressful I found it to be. Anyways, so I know that next week we'll have more days like that, and that frankly our life will be just this roller coaster of days like that until he gets his position, and then we'll be moving. So I think having those goals or those landmarks are really helpful to just be like, okay, I want to work on this, but if I just pick it up randomly, I might be like, ugh, I don't even know where to start, you know, because I just don't have the brain space, the emotional space for it. But if I pick it up and I look at my planner, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to finish 1 bird on this or whatever. It's like, okay, pick a bird, do a bird. Like, it just makes it a little bit more, a little less heavy and a little bit more fun. Like, okay, this is kind of like a challenge to myself, though always a no pressure challenge because this is a fun thing, right? This is not a job. It's a hobby. So, let's get into my haul, and that will be super fun. And then we'll talk about my plans for April and all of that craziness. My plans in between the crazy. So, as I alluded to, I have lots of haul. My market patterns came while I was gone. So I'll start with those because most of them you've probably seen. Everybody's doing these fabulous kind of market recaps. And so I'll just kind of scoot through them unless I haven't seen it as much, and then we might linger and chat for 30 seconds about it more. Okay, so first my cottage came from the Fabulous House series. I mean, you've seen it by now. It's gorgeous. I adore the concrete etchings on that. It's so pretty. And this medallion up here and the little seagulls. Everything's so good. It's so good. I love it. And they just announced the Hobbit house, which I will say I will be recharting the door to be green as Bilbo's door is, because you know it's gonna be Bilbo's house. So I'll be doing that when it comes. But I had started out with this series. I'm like, I'm gonna start them every month, and I've stepped back away from that because I didn't start the castle. I got about half of the greenhouse done. I'm not going to say I'm not going to pick that one up again because I'm getting into the fun part. So it could happen. But, you know, I can just collect them, and that's okay too. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. And I do want to stitch them all. I just don't know when that will happen. Anyway, so I got that one. And then Yeah, here's my market. So that one came last. We'll put that one at the back. So Tiny Modernist put out several fabulous patterns this time. Love grows here. I couldn't read the cursive or that script in the camera. I love it. It is joyful. I love the giant strawberry. It's like a little fairy house in the garden, right? Because everything's so big around it. It's got to be a fairy house. It's delightful. And I stitched back in the pandemic days. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Angle the camera up. I did the Let's Stay Home from Satsuma Street, which was a free stitch in 2020. And that was super fun. I really enjoyed stitching that. And this feels kind of like similar vibes. Here's a tiny house and some fun rainbowy things around it. And I like it. Anyway, so I grabbed that one. We're going to say this. Save the best for last. You already know what it is, I'm sure. Heartstring Samplery, Scenic Sampler. It is so, so beautiful. And I have to correct myself from my last one. So I had said something akin to, it's so sad, but it's so pretty and I'm drawn to it, right? That was just my sad brain talking. So you can see it's kind of a script. And when you're looking at the pictures online, it's tiny. And I read, the phrase says, "Dear old world, you are very lovely, and I am glad to be alive in you." But I read, "Dear old world, you are very lonely." My poor sad little brain. And so I was so drawn to, we've got a swan in the pond and the sweet sheep and this gorgeous border, this beautiful moth. It's so pretty. It's so beautiful. I was drawn to it, but I just thought this was the saddest little phrase. It turns out one of you lovely viewers informed me that the quote is from Anne of Green Gables, which I love. I need to read those again. I haven't read them since I was a girl. And then when I got it in person, I was like, oh, lovely, not lonely. I'm an idiot. And my sad brain read that wrong. So, dear old world, you are very lovely, and I'm glad to be alive in you. And I love it even more now because it's a bit more optimistic. Anyways, so this is a huge project, so I'm not starting it anytime soon. Next one, Counting Puddles. I am so drawn to their patterns. They have some really, really flippin' cute patterns that I have my eyeballs on. But this... Oh, let me pause this. I'll be back. Where was I? I was talking about this pattern. And I think they are delightful. I love so Counting Puddles, this is called Berry Good Day from Market. And I love the secondary quilting designs that she puts into, there's one with strawberries and it's just texture and it's yummy and it's quilty and so it hits all the vibes. But this one was just so sweet and it's not a big pattern and it looks like it would be delightful to stitch. So got that one. I have never done 3-dimensional little dudes before, but this is from Stacy Nash and from the Animal Cracker series, and that little mouse is just so sweet. And my grandmother used to hand paint little porcelain ornaments. They're beautiful, and they have this kind of vintage feel to them, and so it just made me think of that, and I was like, oh, I need a little mouse. So that'll be fun one day. This is so cute. Oh, this is from, this is not Market. This was from Florida. It was out of order. Anyways, I got this in Florida, which I'll talk more about in a few minutes. But Alice's Winter Wonderland. It is so cute. The details in this. It says Alice's Tea Room, the White Rabbit Watch Repair, and Queen of Hearts Art Studio. It's so cute. So Alice for Christmas, yes. Sign me up. So cute. That'll be really fun. Okay, back to market. JBW, I regretted not getting Eliza's birds last year, and this one was like, okay, we'll just give you 5 birds instead of 1, and I was sold. It's so pretty. They're so elegant. Yeah, really pretty. And then I'm going to be getting the whole series for this log cabin Christmas. So this first one, my mom bought this one too. It was surprising. We were chatting after just a few days ago, and she was showing me what she got at market, and she pulled this one out. She's like, I've got my fabric and I've got my floss and I'm ready to go. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have that pattern too, but I have none of the supplies. So she's totally going to finish this before I do, which is not surprising. She's a wicked fast stitcher. So, and then of course, Alice in Wonderland, Tiny Modernist. There's a sale going for this one that I'm so tempted to join, but I have not found the perfect background fabric for it yet. It's the Tiny Alice sale, which, can we have a cuter little hashtag? Oh my gosh, it's so great. But the details in this just give me giggles. I love this chart. The paint on their paintbrushes, because they have to paint the roses red. Painting the roses red. Oh my gosh. It's fabulous. Everything is so cute. I love it. I'm going to have to dig for fabric. See if I can find something. There's got to be something that's just right in my stash. Right? I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, so that's my market. Just kind of a quick little rundown on those. And then I went to Florida, and I wound up going to this shop called, so we were in St. Augustine. That's where my father-in-law lives, and gorgeous, beautiful. But just south of St. Augustine, by like 20 minutes or so, is a little shop called The Inspired Needle, which apparently used to be in, and I might get this wrong, so don't be mad if I do, but Illinois? Minnesota? I'm not sure. It was somewhere else, and apparently they've moved, and so they opened up again down there. And regardless of where she came from first, I was glad, so glad that she was now in Florida, and so much stuff in that little store. Oh my goodness. I wish I had had 2 or 3 hours in there, because I feel like I missed at least half of what was there. It was fabulous. She was so delightful to chat with. And so if you're anywhere near the Inspired Needle on the east coast of Florida, go, because it was fabulous. And she has all the market stuff. Like her whole center table was market stuff, and then all of the edges of her store were fabulous other things. And oh, so good. So I had a lot of fun in my brief little visit there. And well, that's market. Okay, we'll come back to that. So first thing I found was this carriage house samplings, Comfort Lighthouse, which I just loved. I was looking very specifically while I was shopping there for things that would remind me of our trip, because I just wanted something that was reminiscent of our tropical paradise trip. So, and we went and saw the St. Augustine Lighthouse, so that felt very appropriate. And I don't know, just this is really, really pretty. So I already have 2 fabrics tucked in there to audition with the floss, and both of these charts that I got there, I will start as we get closer to summer. So I'm working on kitting them up, but they're not going to be immediate starts, even though I want to. And the big one I got was High Tide by Rosewood Manor. And I have to tell you guys, this picture does not do it justice. She had Rosewood Manor's sample on the wall there. Oh, it was like, where's that one? I want that. And I didn't even blink twice. So I got she has the ombre fabric there, and she had fabulous little cryonic packs made up for it, and then I picked up the gorgeous floss for it, and it was just tropical and shimmery, shiny, and so beautiful, and I can hardly wait to start this one. It's been like everything I can do not to start this one, but it'll be something to anticipate towards summer, which may come early. Yeah, I love it. I love the seagulls. I love the jellyfish. They were so pretty in person. And the little turtles, I mean, everything is so cute in it. And feels very beachy, of course. So those were my 2 purchases there. And then, of course, the Alice one that got tucked in and all of the yummies there. It was so much fun. I had a delightful time. And then I didn't realize that out of order, I had 2 more markets. So I went into market thinking, okay, 3 to 5 charts, and then life and all the good things. And so I bought more than 3 to 5 charts. It's okay. It's fine. American welcome. How beautiful is it? Look at the pelican. Pelicans are my favorite, like coastal seabird. They're gorgeous. We've got a lighthouse. We've got a beautiful border. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I don't think I'll put the little bottom part because I heard, not because there's anything wrong with saying God bless the US of A, but because I've heard that if you stitch it without that, it fits in a standard frame. So you can buy off the shelf, which is very appealing to me. I do have a piece of fabric tucked in there. I need to make sure it's a 28 count. I might have to switch fabric for it to fit those dimensions. Anyways, I love it. I think it's really pretty. I liked last year's too, but I never picked it up. And this one, I think it was the pelican that tipped me over because it's cute. So that will come in summer too. I'll start that in the summertime. And then, last but not least, is The Simple Life by Teresa Kogut. I don't know that I've ever actually stitched a Teresa Kogut yet, but I love everything about this. And my husband and I always talk about having a little piece of land where we could have a couple of goats and, our animals. We don't want to farm, but like a couple of goats and a few chickens and a huge garden, and just, it says a simple life is a peaceful life. And I feel like that's really what our goal is as a couple, is a simple and peaceful life with our own little corner of the world and a garden. And I just love it. And so like the dog and the cat, and it's delightful. The little beehives. I love the ducks down in the water. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So I have already kitted this up, and I want to start it next month, like in April, because I've got to start something from market. Everybody else is doing it. I want to play too. Okay, so that's that. And then my sister was in town, and she does not have an LNS, so a local needle workshop. So we went down to Threadneedle Street, where I was very good. I still had fun, but I was very good. I bought, because I knew what I had done in Florida and in market. So I was trying to be intentional with my purchases. So I bought the next blooming town, though I have been thinking about this, and I really want to do it doesn't show it on the back. She has a bee town that's really, really cute. I'll just have to look at my calendar and see. There was one month where I was going to like feature several bee projects that I have in my whips, and so it would make sense to start that tiny town then, and I don't know if that comes before or after my patriotic stitching. Anyways, brain ramblings. It's darling. I was going to get it anyways, and she had it, so I picked that up. I picked up 2 of my Fall on the Farm series, and I tried to pick ones that were as spring or summer feeling as possible, even though it's fall on the farm, because, and here's something weird that's happened to me in the last month and a half, is I kind of want to stitch at least one or two things as we build up to the seasons. I'm normally a very seasonal stitcher, and I think I will remain that for the most part. But it would be nice to have, you know, a couple of finishes. And there are some that I've really been enjoying that if I just gave them, you know, a few days, not this one, but a couple of other projects before the season, if I gave them a few days, I could have a finish up on the wall, or, you know, however I choose to finish it by the time that season comes. So it could be used, basically. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Anyways, so if I could find some summary blocks, that I wouldn't feel as stitching out of season, but I could make progress on that, and then, you know, maybe finish that up in September and be able to have it on the wall for October, November, which would be really fun. Yeah. Okay, then I got this one because, I mean, it was complete indulgence. How adorable is that? I'm not even super into gnomes. You know how we all have our things that we're drawn to. I'm like unicorns and Sasquatch and stuff like that typically. But I love ladybugs. My nickname as a little girl, my mom always called me Ladybug. And in fact, my channel was almost Ladybug Stitches or something like that, you know. And if I ever design patterns, I might try to, you know, incorporate that somehow into my name. But ladybugs, and the ladybug hat, and then his little ladybug friend. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. So this is, oh well, I'm not even gonna try to say Le Petit Croix. I'm gonna have to ask Daniel. It's French, so I'm not gonna butcher it for the whole world to hear again, since I already just kind of have to. But I'll figure out how that is pronounced, because my husband speaks French fluently, and I am just a baby beginner who is afraid to say anything out loud. And we'll figure out how that's pronounced. Anyways, but it's darling. And Threadneedle Street had several of this company's designs, and they were all just so cute. They were so fun. Okay, and last but not least, the Twisted Mermaids. They are so beautiful. They make me think of me and my sister, because it's just the two of us, and I love them. I tried to find fabric while we were there, but we couldn't find just the right one. So I'll go back before May or before I move, whichever comes first. Probably the move. Woof. That's a big brain thought. But I'll go back and see. She said she had another shipment coming in the next week or two of fabric, and so maybe there would be, you know, something magical and perfect for them. It would be really fun to start a mermaid in Mira May. So I am doing Mira May. I'm going to stick with that. I was kind of like, as I built up to this video, I was like, okay, what do I want to stitch in April? What do I want my theme to be? Am I even going to bother sticking with a theme? And then looking forward to May, because April might be kind of crazy, you know, are we going to commit to Mira May? Yes, I am going to commit to Mira May. It will be, with maybe one or two exceptions, exclusively stitching Mirabilias in May. No, there will be at least one exception, because we've got a Sal starting at the end of April. So, yes. So I have 3 kitted up mirror charts, and I kind of wanted to do it, structure it so I've never done a mirror Mary before, but I thought it would be really fun. And, you know, you hear rumblings of it. In fact, I think Crossstitch in the Globe is talking about something Mira May related, but I don't know how they're doing it, because it was just like alluded to or referenced in their last video, and I am woefully behind, as so many of us are, on all the fabulous Flosstubers out there. Anyways, I'll have to look into that. But I'm thinking the way I'll do it is 1 new start a week, so 4 new starts, and they'll get 3 days, and then I'll pick 4 whips. Because the idea, as much as it is to have fun stitching mirrors, is also to make progress on some mirrors. So I'll do 4 starts and 4 whips, and the starts will get 3 days, and then the whips will get 4 days. So that's my week. With the exception of our pollinator sal, which starts on April 30th, and we'll talk about that more because I've got it kitted up down here. So I'll have my homework for that, and then, you know, potentially something else just to break up and help me not lose motivation for stitching things that are essentially very similar. Okay, last bit of haul. I was I was scrolling the Instagrams and came across Jen's Fiber Web, who I've followed as I went into to see who had posted this. I mean, I've had little interactions with her before, and she has a Flosstube, and I had seen her post before. So, I mean, I was following her when I saw this. I just had forgotten. Anyways, but she posted her start on The Unicorn's Garden by Sprouting Lupine, and oh my gosh, hers is gorgeous. You've got to go see it. But also, isn't it so sweet? I couldn't wait. I had to go buy it. And I have it printed out, and I don't have any fabric, but it's charted in DMC, so it's super easy to kit up, and yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm gonna have to dig around and see if I have perfect fabric for it. It's so sweet. I have so many unicorn charts. I have 5 or 6 unicorn charts, and I didn't start my magical Teresa Wensler unicorn because March was just March. We were just busy or gone almost the whole month, and so I haven't started that. I have quite a few unicorn charts. I should have a unicorn theme month. I don't know when that would be, but it would be fun. One day, perhaps. Okay, let's talk real briefly about April, which I'm all ready to go on. In fact, it's been hard to find, oh my goodness, I'm saying a lot. That drives me nuts. It's been hard to find or to settle with some of the projects I've been working on more consistently over the last couple months because I'm kind of burnt out on them. But I knew I was doing a video, so I didn't really want to jump into anything new. I don't know. Does that make any sense? Because then I'd have to I don't know. Brain. I'm rambling. Okay, so originally I was going to do an ornithologist April, so bird theme. And I have expanded that idea into Earth theme, which seems really vague and giant because it could be anything. But I started last April an Earth Day project, which last year fell on the 22nd of April. Don't worry, this is not archival in my brain. I just know because I was looking at the project. And I actually wrote down when I started it. So I was stitching a project from this book, Leave Nothing But Footprints, Kill Nothing But Time. So pretty, Emma Congdon. And I would like to finish that by this Earth Day, which I'm not sure what day that falls. But it made me think, okay, let's do kind of an Earth Day theme for the month. So anything that is nature or earth related, but not humans. So plants and animals. It's a plants and animals theme. Oh, my brain. Anyway, so I have a goal, a fairly ambitious goal to finish that one. We'll see how that goes. Especially if I wind up moving in the next few weeks, that would definitely it would, what is the word I am looking for? complicate my progress on that. Maybe that's the way. Wouldn't make it impossible, but potentially complicate it. I would like to start Armchair Ornithologist, which I bought last year from Market. It is delightful. I have had fabric chosen for it for almost a year. I do not have any flosses pulled. I think it's all DMC again, so it shouldn't be that bad, but I haven't fully kitted this one up. So starting that one could be fun. It would fit. The Enchanted Garden by Joan Elliott is so stinking delightful. And I have that kitted up, so I could start that one. In fact, I consider starting this one tomorrow for like an Easter stitch. Thought maybe I could do like an Easter bunny and then also pick up my little neglected Lord's Prayer, which has some glue blah blahs in it that I'm having to figure out. So it takes brain to stitch that one right now until I kind of resolve that, which we've talked about before. Anyways, but I thought like those could be fun stitching tomorrow. We'll see if I get any stitching done tomorrow. I have some whips that fit. So the Glad Sun is so beautiful. It's got my birds, plants. You can see I've got a little start on it. Maybe I'll pull out this cute little owl, which I have decided is a spring owl instead of an autumn owl. I don't know. My Pitiful Lavender Fairy Start from Nora Corbett. And my Prairie Schooler Prairie Birds, potentially. But I wasn't happy with the green I had chosen. It's a very dark green, which, you know, that's as charted. They're beautiful. But I kind of wanted something a little lighter, a little fresher. So that kind of went on pause last year and I never got very far. So we'll see. I really do want to work on my, I don't remember what this is actually called. Where are the words? Garden Sampler by Carriage House Samplings. I love this one and I really loved working on it last fall when I started it. So Lauren, the New Hampshire stitcher, has already finished hers, and which is not surprising. She's one of those brilliant uber fast stitchers and I'm consistently in awe of what she accomplishes, just in the sheer number of stitches. Anyways, so it would be fun to pick this up again. I know I'll stitch on this. I know I'll stitch on this one, and I know on April 30th I'll stitch on this one. So really it's super up in the air. There are some of my whips that I had worked on in the last couple months that could qualify in my Earth Day kind of theme. Moggy Manor, which you didn't see today, would be good. It's full of birds in the trees and little kitter cats, and you know, I've just got a real handful of projects that could work. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Those are just some of my options. So we will finish off by talking about the pollinator salve real quick. So that came while I was gone. My pattern, here it is, in praise of pollinators by the Blue Flower. You've seen it. Everybody's oohing and awing over it, and rightfully so, because it's fabulous. I do have it all broken down, which I will share. So regardless of what is going on in my life, even if I am flippin' driving across the country, I will pull my car over and I will do a short video. So it'll go on my Instagram and it will also go on here as a short. I've never done a short on YouTube before, so that will be different. But it will be our launch day short, and it will just say like, here's your assignment for the month. Welcome to the pollinator salve. It's going to be uber fun, and it'll give you the breakdown and the details, which are, you know, simple. It's not complicated. It's just fun. But I do have a schedule for it, and I've broken it down into 9 months. And so we'll do a chunk a month, And I've tried to break them down into fairly balanced, because there are portions of this design that are dense. Like that bat is very dense. There's a lot of stitching that goes into the butterfly and this bird, and then you've got some kind of more airy spaces. So I've tried to break it up in a way that those are, you know, their own little moments, so that it's really accomplishable. Is that a word? Really achievable goals. And then you have a whole month to do it, and it will be grand. So here is my little kit I've put together. I don't think this is all the DMCs. It's just most of the DMCs. Maybe it's all of them. I haven't checked, honestly. But these are the 3 specialty. Look how pretty Lindy Stitches did this. She put a little ribbon around it that I just destroyed. I just thought that was lovely. What a sweet little touch. Because I bought the specialty thread pack with my pattern when it was in its pre-order stage. So these are the 3. There are only 3 fancy flosses. Chili Pepper from Classic Colorworks, Caramel from Classic Colorworks, and Guacamole from Weeks Dye Works. Very pretty. That's got to be our cactus. And then I have chosen, oh, I'm going to mess up my kit. That's okay. It's fine. I've chosen for my background, which took so many different auditions to find one that I wanted to use. I dyed this piece of Ada last fall. I think fall was when I was going through my big dyeing phase. But this wound up just working really well. And it's a 14 count Ada, so it will be really comfortable to stitch on. So that will be great. And I think the colors look really pretty on it. It's got this really pretty, like, kind of bluey green undertone to the gray with a little bit of brown. Yeah, just kind of worked. Everything else I tried, I was kind of like, okay, could work. And then I chose my Ada, or threw it on the Ada, and I was like, that's the one. Everything came together. And I've got them tucked into my project bag, which has birds on it. And I'm ready to go. So, April 30th, this starts. I'll give the little launch video in the morning for sure. And we'll kick it off. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. There's been a lot of enthusiasm for it. And yeah, I can't wait to see everybody's choices for fabric, and it'll be super fun. So April 30th, it feels like 1,000 years away, but I really wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to get their pattern and get their supplies. And so it was a no stress, like, you're not going to miss out on the launch or anything just because the mail goobed up or you couldn't get your hands on a floss or something like that. You know, like, things happen. And I've definitely had projects where I was super excited to start them, and then the delay kind of harshed my mellow. I don't know. Anyways, so that will be, well, you're going to use the hashtag pollinator Sal. And yeah, it's going to be super fun. I'm excited for it. But that's not till the end of the month. So there's lots of stitching that's going to happen before then. When I get back to visit with you is completely in the air right now. If we still, it really depends. It really depends. I would like to say I'll be back in 2 weeks. That's my hope. That's my goal. If my husband winds up getting a position in the next week, the next couple weeks could become very full, and it might not be till after, might not be till the end of the month. We're really efficient. So fun fact about me, we have been married 12 years and we have moved 14 times. So we're very proficient movers. It's a lot of work, but I can make it happen so quickly. So I foresee if let's say in a dream world, he got one of the stores on the list this week and we were moving by the 20th of April. Like the 20th, we move into our new apartment, wherever that is. And I would say by the end of the month, I'm pretty moved in and ready to film a video. So it could happen. It could happen. It just depends. Life is so up in the air right now. It's kind of wild. Anyways, I will be back. I will at the very least, and hopefully there will be more than this and a bigger update sooner than this. But at the very least, we'll do our launch short on the 30th. Oh my gosh, that's so long away. We're going to do something before then. I'll just miss you guys too much. I'll have too much to share. Yeah. Anyways, I'll be back. Just like the Terminator, but less violent. And I'm gonna stop talking because I'm just fried. My whole brain is just mush. Anyways, I hope life is treating you well. I hope you're getting lots of stitching time. I hope you are bringing kindness into the world, and I am grateful for you all. I'll see you soon. Take care.